Alright, so this tutorial is going to go over in detail the steps needed to create object number 1 of the Dirty Dozen. Now this is going to be one of the slowest objects I'm going to show you, simply because since it's one of the first objects we draw in detail, I want you to really understand the concepts here. So I've already created a tutorial video. It's the fast version of object number 1 if you just need to see that as a refresher. But if you really need to understand how to do the measurements correctly and every single step, this is going to definitely be the video to watch. So here we go. Object number 1, Dirty Dozen. Now first off, keep in mind that we're seeing like numbers like 2.25 and 1.5 and 1 and 0.5. Those probably aren't millimeters because the object would be incredibly tiny. That's in inches. So I have gone to my preferences and verified that I am in inches. So if you're not, just go ahead and change it. Remember that you need to do File, New, in order for those changes to take effect, if that's what you need to do. So here we are, we're in inches. I now need to look at my overall width of the object and the overall depth of the object. So how wide it is in the front view and how deep it is as seen in the right side view or in the top view. In this case, we see the width dimension given here as being 2.25, but we don't see an overall width dimension here. We do see the overall dimension given here as this 1.5. So that's actually going to be the size of my starting rectangle. So that's where I'm going to begin. The rectangle. Remember, you click and do not hold your mouse button down here. That can mess you up. We just click and release and then move our mouse so it starts the rectangle, and we're going to type in our 2.25 comma 1.5, and then when we hit enter, it has now created that rectangle. Now remember, we're creating the entire box here, so I need to see how far this gets extruded up. Now if I look over here, my height is actually 1.5, so I'm going to type in 1.5, and when I hit enter, there is my full box. Every feature inside of this object is going to take place inside of this box here. There will be no features sticking outside of this perimeter here. I'm going to go ahead and use my selection tool to click on this MakerBot template here, and I'm going to get rid of it. Just hit delete. And let me position this on my screen a little bit better. Alright, so now I need to start adding features in. If you notice, this looks like a big giant L shape when turned to look directly at the front view. So that's what I'm going to create. So I need to know how far this line right here is off from the left side. So there's no dimension right in this area, but I do notice that the same dimension is here as being 0.75. So what I need to do is use my measure tool to select the edge, the left edge, and click and now move my mouse button. Again, we're not clicking and holding the mouse button down. We're releasing the mouse button and dragging to the side and typing in 0.75. Enter. And I also notice that the height of this horizontal edge or this horizontal surface here is also 0.75 from the bottom. So I'm going to click my bottom edge, start my mouse button going, or my mouse moving in the upward direction, and I'm going to type in 0.75, enter. Now you're going to notice that you cannot use the push-pull to select just that area there because there's no closed-in entity. These dashed lines are only guidelines. They're there just to help us position. They do allow snaps, so we're able to snap directly on the intersecting points where those intersect with a major edge or some other feature. In this case, we're going to need to go to our rectangle tool and draw a rectangle in that region. Now there is another way to do it. Let me undo that real quick. You could use your line tool and just draw these where the intersection is. Notice that that's a darker line than these right here. It's a little bit bolder, but as soon as I click this second edge, it is no longer bold. It seems to be bold whenever it's not completely enclosing an entity. But as soon as I close this off with this horizontal line here, it changed from being bold to a normal line, and that means that this is an actual face. And if I move to my push-pull tool, you can see that I can select either one of these regions now. And that's exactly what I need to do, is select this region, and then I can click on this edge here, and that'll tell it that's as far back as that cut goes. Or I can turn using my mash style on my scroll wheel, I can orbit the screen around to where I can click on this actual back surface. And there you see it has cut the object away. Now we're going to just repeat those steps for the other features that we have. So I'm going to do all my guidelines, and then I'm going to do the extrusions last. So I have, according to this drawing here, I have 0.25 is the gap here from this edge to this edge, 0.25 on both sides. And I know it's on both sides because this is 0.25. There's 1 inch in between the gap, and since it's 1.5 total, I know that there's 0.25 remaining. So I'm going to come over here, 0.25, and here I'm going to do 0.25, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my features in the right side here as well, this front cutout. 0.5 are the measurements on that side. So I'm going to go 0.5 over, and then from this edge back toward the middle, 0.5. And there you can see that those guidelines are on their individual surfaces, the ones where I wanted those features. So now I'm just going to use my rectangle tool. I'm just going to do this twice here, this one there, and this one here. And now I can swap to my push-pull tool to create these cutouts. Now when I click on this surface here, I can now go down. It tells me that I needed a 1/2 inch, so I'm going to go downward 0.5, enter. And on this one I need to go cut it inward 0.75. Alright, and there we have object number 1. Now the last step, I always want to get rid of my guidelines, because if you don't, they'll be there on your drawing for the next object that you create. So I get rid of my guidelines, I use my selection arrow tool, select the entire object, get in the habit of right clicking and checking the area, so go to area selection, and we should see that this is 15.875 square inches is my surface area. Now that I have it selected, I can also go ahead and make that a component, and this is component number 1, create, and you see that now it is one solid component. If I click on it, it entirely selects everything. And this also enables us to hide the object if we choose. To make it back visible again, we can go to Edit, Unhide All, or Last, depending on what you want. In this case, it's the only object we have, so I can do Unhide All. Alright, again, if you need to watch this in more detail, just feel free to slow it down. Feel free to pause it at each step that's necessary. And if you want a faster version, there should be that as well found on the tutorial videos. Alright, thanks for watching.